How we doing, everybody? Hello. Welcome. Tell you what, I gotta get a new mic stand and a new microphone. Gotta upgrade soon because it's a little rough over here on this desk, but we're making do. How are you guys doing today? How we making out? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Starting off the stream strong, feeling good. Not gonna forget to hit the record button this time, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now because I think we'll be okay. All right, we'll hang out for just a minute as per usual before we get started on today's topics. Got a little tunes playing for you. Hope it all sounds okay. I think everything is working all right. I like to kind of let the stream go for a minute and just make sure we're not, falling apart on the network or on the old hardware here. So, yeah, I'm gonna put down a tad. But yeah, it usually seems like we pick up viewers, I don't know, around the 10-15 minute mark. I don't think we're going to wait that long before we get into today's stuff. But I do hope if anybody is watching this or if you rewatch this, that if you like the stream or if you like the videos that have been getting put out, to consider subscribing and leaving a comment on the videos or sharing it with your friends. You can like it or dislike it too, whatever you'd like to do. YouTube, I guess, removed the dislike button. You never know, they might remove the like button at some point too, but we'll wait and see. Wait and see what happens. I have thought about, should I also upload my content to places like Rumble? Not sure what your guys' thoughts are on that. I've never used Rumble. I should start going on there actually, and using the platform and getting a feel for it to see if how it works out, what it's all like, and yeah, I don't know, just to kind of diversify some stuff. I don't know what other. I feel like there's other platforms too outside of Rumble and YouTube, but those are, I guess like the main ones right now. Something I'll have to look into and check it out. All right. So, today's topics. The nice thing for you guys, so we don't get a bunch of upset people, I don't think they're as controversial today as yesterday's, so that's good. You guys might have seen some of what we're talking about in the title. Do you have an idea? I guess you might be upset if you're a vegan. And then I'm debating on if I'm gonna watch a video with you guys at the end of the show, for two reasons. One, I don't want to get like copyright strike, but I don't know that would be too much of an issue. I don't think I would, but if I did, I could always just take it out. Mostly it's a video I haven't seen yet, and two, because I know a lot of you aren't going to like the people in the video, so we'll see if we get that far and how that goes. But yeah, we're just gonna wait a few more minutes and kind of hang out, relax. See if a few more people join. If not, cool, we'll just get started. And if a few people join, then we'll have somebody to say hi to. So. Also, I don't think I'm going to be doing live shows on the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, I think I'm taking the days off. So yeah, Monday through Friday is looking like. Hey, it's Knocked. How you doing? Knocked out. What's up, buddy? Where's the Collingwood water bottle? Is it gone? No. It's right here. Right there. My hand is. And it's still got the kangaroo nuts on it. I didn't get rid of it. Here. See? I got it. I got you. It's just kind of hiding right now behind me. Oh yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry. I still have it. I still got it. I still have all my AFL and Aussie gear going on back here. Yeah, it's been a while now since I got that stuff. I still got it all. Not the candy. I ate most of it. But yeah. The old cricket ball. Still have yet to play cricket. One day. One day. How are you doing, buddy? What was my favorite Australian candy? The honeycomb stuff. I forget what it was called. That was pretty good. Whiz, no, not the Whiz Fizz. Yeah, maybe it was the Whiz Fizz. What else was I thinking of? The Tingles. That's what I'm thinking. Violet Crumble. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. That stuff was good. There's another one that was like a bee, like a honey, like a bee hunt, like the cheaper brand. But then there was like the Lifesavers, the Fruit Tingles. Yeah, Violet Crumbles. Yeah, those are good. That stuff's pretty good. The chocolate stuff's pretty good. You know, I like the eucalyptus drops. Those are. It's not like a sweet kind of candy kind of thing, but I thought they were good. So yeah, 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 yeah. You got it, man. Those things are good. I know. I miss having those. I mean, the Tim Tams obviously delicious, right? With some nice warm coffee. Can't go wrong with that. No sir. Yeah. Lots of good stuff. You know, I miss the snacks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. You know, the burger rings and shapes and all the good stuff. You know. Yeah, I'm with you on the Tim Tams. I can only have three or so. You know, maybe 4, or but oftentimes 2 to 3. Yeah. They're a lot. They're rich. They're very sweet. So, oh, you want to send a care package? Very good. You miss me watching the sport, Dakota. Yeah, I hear you, but it's one of those things where it's tough with the times and stuff. I mean, I'll try and get some AFL streams in before the season's over. We can still do some like watch along stuff. Knocked out. I don't know. You might not want to send me a care package after you start seeing some of my videos. I've had some people not like my latest content, so we'll have to see. But I appreciate the offer either way. Yeah, I don't have the AFL, like the watch AFL stuff anymore, because it was like $35 a month, and I'm trying to save money right now. But so I got to find a way to watch it. NRL 2. You know, the NRL's tough. Like, just me, if I just, you know, I can't, I'm worried. I don't even want to say their name now. It's like voodoo. They might shut my stream down just saying the name. So, yeah, even just stream, like watching them and talking about the game, that's tough with the NRL. They've shut me down several times. So you've watched all my vids from day one reacting to the AFL? Well, I'm glad you've watched all my... That's pretty awesome. I appreciate that, actually. Thank you. Thanks for being here, man. I know, you've been around since the beginning. But, yeah, the NRL is a bit much. Yeah, they've always been hard on me, particularly streaming them. Like they copyrighted one of my streams that I didn't even like show anything of theirs, like no branding, no logos, no anything. I was just talking about them, and they struck my channel. They shut my stream down. Yeah, it was during the State of Origin. So that's the problem. Is I've done the State of Origin the last 2 years now, and every single year when I stream during the State of Origin, they just come in manually and strike my my live stream, and then I dispute it, and they drop the dispute. But by the time they drop the dispute, the State of Origin's already over, so it doesn't really matter. They just get away with doing it every year. Like, I don't know. I've like talked to YouTube about it, and I don't think they do anything. Cordy, thanks, buddy. You like the haircut? Yeah, no more long hair. It's all gone. It's all gone. Yeah, it's crazy having short hair now. It's been years. No, times are changing. You know, Menke cuts his hair and then starts talking about like politics and current news, and it's just a wild, crazy world. Looking younger too. All right, well, I'll take that. Yeah, I mean, it's a little cleaner than having the long hair. Long hair kind of makes me look like a dirty hippie, you know. So it's a little bit cleaner of a look. Even, you know, it's a lot less maintenance having short hair. All the ladies will understand, you know. The ladies with the long hair, I guess. No, gotta say that. There's a game of NRL in round 1 next year happening in America. What state or what city, I guess, is a better question. I could do a shampoo advert. Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, any shampoo companies out there? You want to pay me a lot of money to do a commercial? I'm down. Got you. I don't think it's gonna happen, but hey, I'll take it. I you know, take the money. Do a little shampoo, a little scrubby dubby. You know, nothing wrong with that. No harm, no foul there. That's what I'm saying. Dolphins are kicking off next year too. You jump ship from the Bunnies to the Dolphins? How dare you? How dare you? It's the Rabitos all day. No, don't shush me. Don't shush me. You're the one who switched. You can't like shush me after you switched. Hey, doesn't work that way. All right, what do you guys think? Should we just jump right into the to the show here and start talking about all the stuff I could dig up in a couple of hours today to talk about? You supported the Bunnies for your dad. Now it's time you support for me. All right, well, yeah, fair enough. I can respect that. Get the nice high scoring between the Hawks and the Tigers at the moment. Nice. All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. We're not talking about any Australian sports in this in this live show today. So, yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. We're gonna get some coffee, and then we'll get started. Yep, nothing like that midnight coffee. So again, I want to preface this with anybody watching on the replay or live now. These are just my opinions. If you don't like them, that's fine. You don't have to watch, but let's be civil. Calm the hell down, a lot of you, right? Because we got some people who like to freak out sometimes. And I don't know if I have my mods here. And I don't really want to have to jump into the chat later on. So, throwing that out there. But you do you guys. All right. So we're going to start it off. What do you guys know about Casey White? It's my kind of first time hearing about this story with Casey White. Apparently, Casey White broke out of prison about 11 days ago, and recently, I believe it was yesterday, was just apprehended. So I'm going to pull up here, and we're going to kind of take a look at this story, because it's kind of a crazy story if you look into it. All right, so here we have Casey White. All right, this tall mother effer. So apparently, he went to prison, back in what was it? Let's take a look here. I forgot. I read this earlier, but now the exact numbers are throwing me for a loop here. Okay. So he ended up in prison in 2012 for about 3 years, for beating his brother with an axe sledgehammer handle. So basically, like the handle of a sledgehammer, he beat his brother with, and he was in prison for 3 years. After he got out, he carried out another crime spree, including home invasion, carjacking, a police chase, and he was indicted on 15 counts, and he was convicted on 7 of those counts, and he was set to serve 75 years in prison. All right, so he's basically going to spend the rest of his life in jail. All right, so while he's in jail, and let's see, it was nope. Okay, so I was just checking because I thought he might have gotten out, but basically he was trying to he while he was in prison, he did a bunch of dumb shit. Anyways, he tried to break out a few times. He ended up falling in love, and I don't know if he actually fell in love. I'm kind of making up a story at this point, but he had a romantic relationship with this guard, which is kind of nuts, right? So this lady, Vicky White, and I don't know, it's crazy because they have the same last name, so I don't know if they got married or if it's just a happenstance that they both have the same last name. But Vicky White was a guard, or what do they call him, correctional officer, at the correctional facility. So, what ended up happening was, she told the prison that she was taking him to a mental health evaluation. They left the prison. When they weren't coming back, they reached out. They tried to find out, like, hey, is it, at first they thought he kidnapped her, but then they realized that she made the whole story up. But for the past 11 days, this man, Casey White, and Vicky White, the correctional officer here, have been on the run from police. Okay, so, and now I'm going to show you a video, which is them apprehending the suspect. Okay, Casey White. Unfortunately, Vicky White, the guard, who fled with Casey White, allegedly, and it seems to be like from everything I'm reading here, shot herself in the head. All right, she committed suicide. That's what they're apparently ruling, or that's what they're saying now. there was a 911 call where she was on the phone with 911, talking about how, you know, they were gonna have a standoff with police, but the police ended up kind of crashing their car. But you'll see that here in the video. Let's just play this so you guys can kind of take a look and have an idea on what happened.
New video of the final chase of that fugitive couple after 11 days on the run. The escaped prisoner taken into custody after officials say the former corrections officer took her own life. Casey White is now talking to police. Alex Perez has the latest.
Overnight, escaped prisoner Casey White led in handcuffs into this northern Alabama courthouse, facing additional charges following the end of that dramatic jailbreak and 11-day manhunt that left his accomplice, former corrections officer Vicky White, dead.
So, again, I really want to know if they just happen to have the same last name, or if they like snuck off and like got married on those 11 days or what, and they're just calling her that. I'll have to look more into that, but it's kind of crazy if they do have the same last name. I'm just going to kind of skip ahead here, and we'll take a look at the moment that he gets apprehended.
Dramatic new police dash camera video capturing the intense moments the fugitive was apprehended Monday in Evansville, Indiana.
I'm looking at it right now, they just got him.
In this newly released 911 call, Vicky is overheard urging White to run.
Get out, run.
With nowhere to hide, officers piling on 6'9" Casey in a white undershirt and dark sunglasses, the 38-year-old finally in handcuffs and back in custody.
What's crazy is he's tried to break out of prison several times, right? And he's finally able to do so. He's able to build a relationship with a guard. Like, you got to think about, you know, is he like some sort of like, you know, psychopath kind of genius where he can like manipulate people to like fall in love with them? Because, you know, you like the kind of the stuff you hear in like the movies or the stories or whatever. Or is she just like the type who she's working there because she likes, you know, has like a fantasy or fetish for bad guys? It's just like one of those crazy stories you feel like would be in a movie. I don't know, that the guard ends up, you know, accomplice with one of the inmates. They both share the same last name. I don't know what that's all about, but she helps him break out of prison with some like kind of not so elaborate story, but it works really well because it's like he needs a psych eval, so I'm just gonna take him. And then they're fleeing for 11 days. They had a ton of weapons in their vehicle. They planned to have a shootout with the cops, but what happened is the cops basically, they were on a chase with these two, and they rolled their car into a ditch, so they weren't able to really have a standoff. Thank God, you know, because no cops were injured during this. But it's kind of nuts, right? It's like one of those things out of a movie, you know. Yeah. Here's a picture of the vehicle. Picture of the Cadillac that they were driving that got rolled. Before Vicky died, she was facing multiple charges. Forgery and identity theft charges in Alabama. Huh. She was an assistant director of the corrections for Lauderdale County. That's crazy. Like, or maybe, you know, did he pay her? You know, I just want to know more. You know, I want to know more about like what she was thinking. But unfortunately, she is no longer here to tell that story, right? You know, it would have been interesting to hear what she had to say about all of this. This is one of those kind of stories that we're going to hear about in like 15 years where, you know, like he breaks the silence or whatever and spills the beans about anything. But in reality, he might be getting sentenced to death. So based off of like the charges on top of what he already had, the 75 years, there's, I think, potential for him to get a death penalty if they found out like that he shot Vicky and she didn't actually shoot herself. I don't know. I was looking into that a little bit, but you know, he's definitely going to be going back to prison for the rest of his life. You know, no questions asked. Kind of a crazy story. I am glad that they apprehended him, and nobody was hurt other than Vicky. It's unfortunate she was hurt, but she was also an accomplice. You know, no police officers were hurt, no innocent bystanders, I believe, were hurt during the 11 days. But so that's fortunate that, you know, they got him, right? Crazy story though. Crazy story. All right. Let's move on to the next topic. So I thought this was it's a kind of a bit off topic thing, but this is going to be our viewer submission of the week. Let's just say that. This will be the first one. This was shown to me. One of I don't know if it's a subscriber or not, but somebody who watches the videos and the live streams sent this article to me just to kind of take a look at it. And so I thought, you know, we'd bring it up because a lot of Australians watch my videos and the live streams, so I figured we'd take a peek at it. So the title of this article: New Trial Granted in Defamation Case Against Author Who Exposed Scientology in Australia. This was posted on April 29th. So I don't know how well you guys know about this story. This is first time I'm hearing about it was today, but you guys might be better informed on what's going on here. But from my understanding and from reading this article, we have Steve, and I don't know if I'm going to say his last name right, even though it looks simple. I don't know if it's Cannon or Canane, but just go with Steve. So Steve wrote a book called Fair Game, and you know, it talked about Scientology. It talked about these doctors and yada yada. I didn't read the book. I don't really know what's in the book. It's kind of irrelevant, because what ended up happening is the people he was talking about sued him for defamation, I believe, and they lost. One of the justices basically said no, you know, he has a right to do that, but now it's getting appealed. All right, this is kind of a long story short, but I'm gonna read this this little snippet here to get an idea on what's going on. So Justice Jaggett was the original justice that made the ruling that this guy's writings in the book were fair. All right, and other justices have come out and tried to appeal it. Which basically, again, this guy just wrote a book about like the Scientology stuff, but he used the Royal Commission's report. Now, I don't know too much about what that is, but it sounds basically like a public record, right? Of information, which if you're using public record information to write a book, you can't really be sued for defamation on it, because you're using what's in the public record. And knowing Scientology, they're very strict and they don't like being talked about. They don't like being exposed. And, you know, yeah, so it seems like they're going to come after anybody who kind of talks about them. And the point of this article is how Australia doesn't really have the same free speech, or more so freedom of press, constitutional rights that like America has, and why they're actually able to appeal this and sue the guy who wrote a book for kind of exposing the inner workings. And what's crazy is, again, I'll read the snippet in just a second. I'm kind of delaying that, but is that what they're suing him on is because they didn't get their side of the story. So apparently there were some doctors at a psychiatric clinic that were drugging patients and killed a few of them. They did like deep sleep therapy. There was like, I think there was something like about birth records. I'd have to kind of look into this a little bit more. I thought I remember that. But either way, just kind of like some bad stuff, and the guy kind of exposed in this book, and they're suing him because they're like, well, you didn't go ask the people that committed these crimes their side of the story, therefore you can't talk about it, which is kind of ridiculously crazy. But okay, now I'll read this. All right, it says the court was told that Justice Jaggett, the one who made the original decision that it was fine to have the book, made an error when she concluded Mr. Heron and Dr. Gill falsified death certificates and Mr. Heron defrauded patients. So these were the people in the book that Steve was talking about. Justice Michael Wigley said Justice Jaggett also made an error when she found that Mr. Cannon acted reasonably. Mr. Cannon made a conscious decision not to obtain and publish Mr. Heron and Mr. Gill's response or side of the story, Justice Wigley said. So a justice is saying, well, you didn't go out and get their side of the story, so therefore it was an error in your ruling. Which is nuts. You don't need the other side of the story to tell a story. You don't if I want to go look up and talk about, what the president did, right? Or what the former vice president did or whatever, I don't need to go talk to the former vice president to get their side of the story to talk about it, right? Like, that's kind of insane. All right. So there was essentially no dispute that Mr. Cannon was able to, but made no attempt to, contact Mr. Heron and Dr. Gill to obtain and publish their response to what was said about them in Chapter 14 of Fair Game. So basically, he said something about them in Chapter 14, and because he didn't go get their side of the story, the whole ruling should be overturned. The court was told that Mr. Cannon and the ABC's Europe bureau chief said he had zero confidence that Mr. Heron and Dr. Gill's response would be truthful, and the book relied on reports from a royal commission into Chelmsford. So I'm sorry if I'm butchering a lot of these names of the people in Australia and the cities, but so Dr. Gill apparently believes this is somehow clearing his name. Really, it's only going to mean another costly trial with multiple witnesses coming forward into detail once again how inhumane and shocking these practices were, and that should be resulted in criminal charges at the time. So basically, it's going to get shot down again. The book should stand. The fact that it's able to get overturned is what's kind of insane. What these guys did has been proven to be kind of horrible and nuts. And again, I think this stuff happened 40, 50 years, 30 years ago or something. It happened a while ago, but it was pretty bad. Some of these therapies and whatever they were doing with their patients. And it's been proven, apparently, right? And it's in these royal commission reports. And that's what he's pulling from to write this book. But the doctor, one of the two people that he's talking about is already passed away. But this other doctor is basically saying he's upset that, his reputation has gone away, right? He's upset that people are finding out about him, and it's freaking him out, and he's trying to sue. He doesn't want, he's like, you can't say that about me. Don't say that about me. And it's like, well, you should be able to. However, in Australia, you don't have the same freedom of press, so the justices are able to just argue that, well, you didn't go get that doctor's side of the story, therefore you can't talk about him in a book, which is kind of crazy because you're pulling from a public record. Again, this was submitted by somebody who watches the show or watches the videos. And it's kind of diving, poking into the world of Scientology a little bit, which is kind of super weird. I remember when I lived in Florida, I was really close to Clearwater, and that's where I think that's where the home of Scientology is, because they have several square blocks of buildings that's all Scientology buildings. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of cool. They're cool buildings, but it's kind of a weird they won't let you talk to people or anything. You just kind of drive by. It's a little tourist attraction almost. But an interesting article. I hope all works out for this guy. In my opinion, you should be able to publish your book and expose any horrific doings. That should be allowed. I mean, shouldn't be able to just hide that just because you didn't go talk to the horrible people and interview them about it when it's apparently proven. Now, you know what? Again, people don't have to enjoy your book. That's fine, but I don't know. This doesn't seem right. I haven't looked into it too much more than just reading this one article, though, so I'm not going to speak too much more on it, other than my initial kind of opinion and reaction to what I'm seeing on the face of it here. All right. Get a little sippage of water. How we all doing, chat? Just kind of chugging along here. I'll get into answering the chat at the end of all the topics here. We have just a few more chit chat about. I guess it's kind of hard to see though on the screen what I'm at now. All right. How many of you folks know who James Cromwell is? Okay. James Cromwell. Now, I didn't really know when I heard the name initially who it was, but seeing the face, I kind of recognize it now. And this is a list of movies. You know, you can go Google him and see what he's been in. It seems like he's been in a lot of movies, just not as like the main character in any of them. I think he's got an Oscar, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so he's been around the block. I think, what is he? He's 82 years old. 82. This guy has been around the block, all right? And he's been in Hollywood for a long time. So, I didn't know about this, but I saw this article, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. All right. James Cromwell here. He's a vegan. All right. And I have a hilarious video to show you. James Cromwell, the vegan, glued his hand to a Starbucks countertop. Why? Why would you do so, you may ask? You might say, oh, because they use milk, they use animal products in their business, and he's protesting, you know, like all the other crazy PETA vegans that do that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying if you want to be vegan, go ahead, be vegan. Just don't come protest to me or tell me why I'm a bad person for not being vegan, okay? I just don't want to hear about it. I don't care what you do in your life. Just leave it on you, all right? Don't be going to super gluing yourself to anything while I'm trying to get my coffee. I don't want to deal with you in the way. That's kind of my point, my view on it, at least. But James Cromwell had a different opinion, different idea. So he thought he'd super glue his hand to the counter of a Starbucks, but not because they have the animal products. Because again, he's James Cromwell. He still wants his Starbucks. I mean, he's still one of these Hollywood elite folks. He still has to have his Starbucks. I mean, come on. He's mad that they charge more for almond milk than they do regular milk. Let's take a look at this video here, guys.
Save the planet, save the cows! And the vegan upcharge now! Save the planet, save the cows! And the vegan upcharge now! Save the planet, save the cows! And the vegan upcharge now!
Okay, can we just laugh at his shirt? It's kind of funny. Like the paw is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's keep going. We'll talk about it after.
Save the planet, save the cows!
And the vegan upcharge now! When will you stop charging us more for vegan milk? When will you stop raking in huge profits?
All right, the minute that I can go buy almond milk from the grocery store for the same price I can buy regular milk, you know what? Maybe I'll stand with you, Mr. Cromwell, but it's more expensive to make almond milk or oat milk or any other. Have you ever tried to milk an almond? Okay, I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm not going to be the greatest at milking a cow, but I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to milk a cow before I can milk an almond. I don't know how to milk an almond or an oat or anything like that. I'm sure it takes a lot more work and there's a lot more waste involved when it comes to doing that, and that's why it costs more, okay, than it does regular cow's milk when those things are producing milk all day long, baby, okay? Naturally, okay, I don't know. It just doesn't, like, the logic behind it, you think at 82 you'd have some wisdom enough to know that that's a little ridiculous. And the fact that he's not protesting Starbucks, he still wants to use the product. He just doesn't want to pay. He's rich and he doesn't want to pay the upcharge for the almond milk or whatever Oh my gosh. Let's just keep going, guys.
While customers, animals, and the environment suffer, the senseless upcharge hurts animals.
The senseless upcharge hurts animals. The fact that he has to pay extra for his almond milk is hurting the birds. Or the cows or whoever. And I always enjoy watching these videos because I think these guys, these vegan people who shout like this are very, what's the word? Kind of, I guess ignorant to some very like key things that happen during agriculture and farming. We'll talk about that here in a second.
No. Save the planet. Save the cow.
Man, George, I appreciate it.
Save the planet.
You guys gotta go outside.
All right, so now this is the honestly, this is one of the best parts about the whole video. I know the big this, you know, it's a short but sweet one, and there's been a lot of good moments already. But he's sitting here, he's scraping off his hand from the table. Okay, now I'm gonna slow it down just so I can pause it and catch it in time. I'm gonna show you something. All right, so dude is he's scraping it off. He's scraping it off. All right. Now, almost. All right, he gets it off. He gets it off. All right, here. I'll pay attention. You see that thing that he's grabbing right there? That old dog still got his Starbucks drink. He still paid them. They still served him, which is blowing my mind because that's a little Starbucks cup. He still got his whatever, and it looks like some fruity madness. But he scrapes his hand up and picks up the Starbucks drink. After sitting there on the counter screaming about having to pay more for vegan milk and how it's hurting the animals. An absolute clown show, if you ask me. Like, again, if you want to be vegan, fine, go be vegan. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't play this moral high ground game because it's ridiculous. All right. Now, I wanted to talk about this just a little bit because because a lot of vegans don't really understand this, and maybe some do, and maybe they'll have some argument. I've really never talked to a vegan too in depth about it because they kind of always just get upset and don't want to talk anymore when you bring this up. But vegans eat what, right? They eat vegetables, they eat oats, they eat almonds, like almond milk. We get a lot of their stuff from things that are farmed in fields that are plowed with tractors, big tractors. And unless you're growing all your own food, which again, here's the thing, if you're a vegan and you grow all of your own food and you're fully sustainable with all your veggies in your garden, hey, good on you. Like, I have nothing to say to you. You know what? If you want to preach to me how everybody should do that, I think you have a lot more of it. You know what? I can't say the word, but I can't say the goddamn word. Starts with a V, but I'm gonna find another word because I can't say it. You have a lot more of a claim to say those things than a lot of the other vegans. However, I'd still argue that it's not really possible for every person to do that. It's not sustainable. But either way, most vegans are buying vegetables at the store, right? They're buying all, you know, whatever. Animals die every time you plow a field. And if you're a vegan, I want to know where the line is, because there has to be a line drawn somewhere on what is okay to kill and what's not, right? Because are mice okay? If you're a vegan, is it okay to kill a mouse? Because every time you plow a field, you kill mice, right? There's mice in fields, so you're killing animals when you plow that cornfield or when you plow that soybean field, or any type of agriculture that's done to get your vegan food. All right, unless it's completely synthetically processed or processed in a plant somewhere where none of the ingredients are harvested in some sort of way with a tractor, right? Because we're using tractors nowadays. These things don't, you know, they're indiscriminate to whatever's in their way, right? Deer can die, rabbits can die, snakes can die. Are worms, are those okay? Do we care about killing worms? I want to know that from vegans, and I'm not trying to be facetious here. I'm being like serious. Because there has to be a line somewhere, right? And if there's not a line, if you say, well, no, even the crickets and the grasshoppers, like, no, we shouldn't even eat those, well, then you're still killing things on your diet, right? And then I've even heard then vegans be like, well, we never, we try to minimize it. That's the whole goal, is minimizing it, doing the least of the part. Well, then what's the whole point of minimizing it if you can never get it to a zero? Shouldn't that be the goal, right? If you're a vegan, I feel like the ultimate goal would be to have 0 animal deaths. When you put that fork or that spoon in your mouth, whatever you eat had 0 animal deaths involved. And if that's the goal and that's the case, I just don't see how that's possible. And again, I don't care if people are vegan, but what bothers me is when you have people like this trying to take the moral high ground and say everybody else is doing something wrong, when in reality they just don't want to pay as much for almond milk when it's more expensive to make. I used to drink almond milk because regular milk upsets my stomach. I get really gassy. I don't like regular milk as much. I never really cared for milk, so I would drink almond milk as a substitute. It's expensive. I stopped drinking almond milk just because it's expensive. I get it, dude. I get what you're saying, but it's more expensive to make, and that's part of the thing. You don't just get stuff for the same price because you're vegan, all right? Sorry. Go grow some almonds, milk them yourself if you're that concerned about it. And so I ended up looking into it just out of curiosity, and I'm gonna take this with a really, with a grain of salt. I don't really trust this, but they say about 7.3 billion animals die every year from crop monocultures. So, like harvesting crops and stuff. They say 70 to 150 billion animals die each year from like the meat industry. Which you'd say, yeah, it's going to be a lot more because you're trying to kill those animals because you're eating those animals. The 7.3 billion are just deaths from you're trying to get your food. You're not even eating those animals. You're just trying to get your food, and those animals die as a result. Again, I don't really know if I trust the 7.3 billion because there's really no way to say like, all right, where's the line? What's considered a death? How do you measure how many mice are in a field, how many rabbits, where's the line, what do you consider in that number? So I think it's kind of tough, but for vegans to take this moral high ground with vegetables is kind of laughable, when you know how farming kind of works a little bit. I mean, even like on a base level. All right. As we get to almost wrapping up here, we're gonna talk about Netflix. Okay. Now, when I saw this today, I was kind of happy. I guess I would say, haven't been a big fan of Netflix over the past few years. I think like. For me personally, I think there's been less and less to watch on there of their own original content that I enjoy. Again, they got rid of all their Marvel stuff with Disney Plus coming into play, and Disney buying the rights to a lot of that stuff. So they lost a lot of shows that I did enjoy watching on Netflix, years ago. And they do have some good series like Stranger Things I like, and there's a few others. But they have a lot of like old reruns that have been really popular. And lately, I haven't really seen a lot on there that I personally enjoy as much. I find myself clicking through Netflix a lot more than I used to, trying to find something to watch that I whatever. And not gonna, it might just be me, but they seem to have been kind of getting on this woke train like a lot of things did for a long time. And they were censoring people and things, that weren't on the far left. They're a company, they can do whatever they want. I stopped paying for Netflix. I now have I share an account with a family member. They still wanted it, so that they pay for it now, so I still get to use it. But I plan on canceling my Netflix just because I really wasn't utilizing it that much anymore, and yeah, there wasn't really a lot on there that I like to watch. But when I saw this, I had a little bit of glimmer of a hope. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Because here's what Netflix did. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but if you did, let me know what you think about it. Netflix adds anti-censorship section to corporate culture memo. All right. So basically, what Netflix did, okay? What Netflix did is they told all of their employees. They said, "Hey, you know what? We're done censoring. We're done playing this. We're only gonna, show far left stuff. We're only gonna show what makes us, these woke crazy leftist people happy, and not show anything else. They're like, we're not doing that. Okay. They said, anybody who we do business with, we're going to let them say what they want to say. Public discourse, diversity in discourse, whether you agree with it or not, is important. And if you don't like it, then maybe Netflix isn't the best place for you to work. That's what they told their employees. So let's take a look at this article a little bit here. This is from Timcast, and I saw him talking about this earlier today, and so I wanted to look into it a little bit, and it's kind of awesome. So I think this is a step in the right direction, and I think more and more companies are starting to kind of like realize that, you know, that saying where it's like, go woke, go broke, you know, or the more woke you are, the more broke you are, kind of thing. Because it's not in a company's best interest to cater to this more and more like far left, and the far left is getting smaller and smaller because I think they fight each other to the point where they have, you know, they ostracize themselves from each other because they can never agree on what they believe. But Netflix realizes that most Americans and most people around the world just want to have, you know, they want to see good content, right? They don't want to have a certain narrative forced down your throat. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, streaming giant Netflix revises company culture guidelines for the first time in 5 years to seek excellence. They want to be excellent. All right, this includes asking employees to demonstrate fiscal responsibility and embrace anti-censorship practices. The document was originally a 125-side presentation created by co-founder Reed Hastings in 2009 to regulate the company without a traditional corporate structure. Netflix's culture focuses on employee decision-making, candid feedback, and maintaining a dream team standard. Now titled Netflix Culture Seeking Excellence, the guideline has been updated seemingly to support the company following a period of poor performance. So basically what happened is, again, like I said, Netflix has realized that it doesn't pay to go woke. They've been losing money. I think last quarter was the first time they've like lost money in years and years, and they're tanking in subscribers. Like the subscriber base is going way down. They're losing a lot of money, and the shareholders are actually like, what the F? And I think this is what we're seeing here is the shareholders putting pressure on Netflix, because a company's job when you're a public company is to, one, your responsibility is to your shareholders, right? Because technically they're the owners of the company too. So the shareholders are like, what the F? You know, we're losing money. Why are you only catering to this far left kind of content a lot of the times? Why are people leaving the platform? Why are people not wanting to watch? Why are people not signing up, right? Why are people moving to other platforms like Disney Plus, like Hulu, and there's these other things that are popping up now that, you know, more competition. So what does Netflix do? They're like, well, you know what? We're done. We're done doing the woke thing. We're done. You know, if you want to if Donald Trump wants to come put a documentary on here, let's do it. They don't care anymore. And I think that's a good thing. I think that more speech is better than restricting speech to a certain set of people. So let's keep kind of looking at this here. The platform added spending members' money wisely. All right, so the platform said we want to spend the members' money wisely. So if you're subscribed, they're trying to spend your money wisely to its valued behaviors, urging employees to prioritize the company's financial bottom line after reporting it lost nearly 200,000 subscribers through the first quarter of 2022. All right, they lost 200,000 subscribers during the first 4 months of this year. It's a lot, right? And it's things like this, okay? So, and I'll kind of look at the rest of this article here, see if it's even relevant, but this is the kind of stuff that I think is leading to this, where Netflix has finally been like, nope, it's not happening anymore. So just a few months ago, right, in October of 2021, so about, what was that, 7 months ago, 6-7 months ago now, Netflix employees walk out to protest Dave Chappelle's special. So a comedian, a man who's been a comedian since I've been a little kid, since I can remember, world famous, long-standing comedian, never been very controversial up until recently, when you can't take a joke anymore, puts out a special on Netflix, and the employees are threatening to walk out. And Netflix is saying, you know what, if this is the way you think as an employee, then maybe you shouldn't work here, rather than catering to these woke employees. And it's kind of crazy that it took 7 months, but it was really only a matter of time, unless Netflix wanted to completely fail, in my opinion. So it's you can't have your employees dictating your company like this. And this is another reason why, like, I think socialism is stupid, because you want these people running your company. I mean, Netflix would be a disaster, right? If you want like the workers to be in charge, these people would be in charge, and the company would completely fail in overnight. Netflix has taken a stand to say, like, you know what, you're more than welcome to work here anymore. But with this whole nonsense about we're gonna dictate as employees who's allowed to say what on Netflix and what content we want to see based off of our ideals and our opinions and our political views is absolutely ridiculous, because you have millions and millions, hundreds of millions of other people who have different opinions and want to see different stuff, and you can't just withhold that from them unless you want to completely fail as a company. So I think it's good that Netflix is finally kind of changing their stance and their perspective on things, and they're kind of saying enough is enough. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what might be on Netflix in the near future. Hopefully in the next year, maybe they'll have some spicy content, if you know what I mean. So let's take a keep looking at this a little bit. The news included in the company's April financial report marks the first time in over a decade that the service has lost customers. So the first time in over 10 years they have actually lost subscribers. Shares in Netflix fell 25% following the report's publication. Our revenue growth has slowed considerably as our results and forecasts below show, Netflix wrote in a letter to its shareholders. Again, I think the shareholders are kind of like, hey, what the hell? Which they should. COVID clouded the picture by significantly increasing our growth in 2020, leading us to believe that most of our slowing growth in 2021 was due to the COVID pull forward. So they kind of, when COVID hit, everybody had to stay home. That's why a lot of YouTubers got started and blew up really quick. I think that's part of the reason my channel even got a little kick in the beginning, because of how many people were just sitting home watching YouTube. The same with Netflix. A lot of people were sitting home watching Netflix. They saw a big subscriber jump. And then as COVID started to trail off, they thought that the loss in subscribers was due to that, when in reality it was due to the messaging, the direction of the company, the way the content on the platform itself, as well as the competition, right? Them losing things like the Marvel. These are actually big things that people will sign up to watch, right? I wanted to sign up to Disney Plus, and I ended up getting Disney Plus just so I could get the little bundle deal. But I like watching the Marvel stuff. I like the older Marvel stuff better, but I like the Marvel stuff. So Netflix realized, like, hey, we have to make a change. All right, this loss in subscribers isn't due to COVID, dying off or whatever. It's actually due to stuff going on inside the company. So it's here. Let's see here. Netflix also added a new section to its cultural guideline titled "Artistic Expression." Not everyone will like or agree with everything on our service. The section reads, while every title is different, we approach them based on the same set of principles. We support the artistic expression of the creators we choose to work with. We program for a diversity of audiences and tastes, and we let viewers decide what's appropriate for them versus having Netflix censor specific artists or voices. Basically saying, we're going to let you guys decide what you want to watch, right? If there's something on Netflix you don't like, rather than Netflix saying it shouldn't be on there, we're going to censor it, we're just going to say, you don't have to watch it. Which to me, I think makes a lot more sense. All right? I mean, you don't go to a library and want the librarian banning all the books that you don't like. You just don't go read those books. If you find it hard to support our content, Netflix may not be the best place for you, the company warns. All right, so I just thought this was kind of awesome, because I'll be honest with the kind of the crazy wokeness that's kind of been happening over the last several years in the direction, a lot of these big companies have been going. It's kind of been a bummer, it's kind of been a bummer, like watching Netflix and stuff and being like, there's just really nothing good on here anymore. You know what I mean? And just kind of like how a lot of people are being censored and a lot of people are being canceled. Comedy's under attack. It's just kind of like been a crazy time. So seeing some of these bounce backs, like Netflix kind of being like, no, we're not doing it anymore. Seeing a lot of people kind of stand up for comedy again, even though for some reason people think it's okay to attack comedians. I think that's kind of one of the funniest people to attack because they're just gonna make fun of you. So I feel like there's gonna become a lot more pushback with it, and the this woke kind of narrative is kind of a self-defeating problem. Like, it's gonna kill itself off. It's not gonna really need a lot of help. So good to see Netflix making a little bit of change to the company culture. I hope it makes for better content in the coming future, and we don't get like these woke activists dictating what happens inside the company anymore. That would be good. All right, and finally, I thought, just to piss everybody off who hates Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro, we would watch a little talk with Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan. Which, to be honest, like, I can understand if you don't like Ben Shapiro, right? Like, you're a lefty and you think he's like the worst person in the world, and whatever. But like, how do you hate Joe Rogan? I don't get how people don't like Joe Rogan. I really don't. He's just a dude having conversations. I think if anybody hates Joe Rogan, it's because he has a lot of money and they don't have a lot of money and they're jealous. Like, that's the only reason I can see people not liking Joe Rogan. Maybe you know something I don't. But let's just take a little watch of this video because I do like both of these figures. And it's about Joe Rogan surviving cancel culture as a comedian, because Spotify also threatened to walk out or leave Spotify if Joe Rogan's episodes weren't like censored or taken off of Spotify, which is absolutely insane and ridiculous. So I want to kind of hear what he has to say about it, and in this little interview with Ben. And this was a recent video, so I hope it doesn't get copyright strike. We're gonna comment on it. We're gonna talk about it. If it does, we'll just cut it out later. But this is more of just kind of a end of the show little special here. Let's take a watch.
Survive in this environment, making jokes for a living.
Just piss people off. I mean, you're gonna always have people. You're gonna have more people upset with you, and there's more righteous indignation, I think, than I've ever seen in comedy. I've had more people furious at me for what are clearly jokes than ever at any other time in my career.
And this is the hardest thing, right? Because you make it something that's clearly a joke, and then somebody writes down the transcript of the joke, and now you have to explain the joke.
Right.
Well, that immediately kills it, because as soon as you explain a joke, it's no longer a joke. So if you make a joke that's politically incorrect, and then they write it down, and everybody who heard you at the time knows that you were making a joke, if they write it down and then you have to explain it, you've automatically exited the realm of jokes, and so now you're trying to explain the statement as like as true or decent, when that's not the point of the joke in the first place.
Yeah.
I love Ben just like hyper breaking down what comedy is and jokes are. But it's a good point, right? Like, I mean, people get so caught up in like, that's what I think a lot of people would do is like they hear a joke and in their mind they're breaking it down word for word, and they're taking it as like somebody is personally saying that and attacking them, and not trying to be funny and comedic, right? And then they feel like if you can say those words are an attack, and therefore I have the right to attack you physically or whatever. It's kind of nuts. But yeah, if you have to explain the joke's not funny then. It's really not. Like, that's a bad joke if you like have to explain it to everybody. That's why it's a small minority of people who are getting so upset about this.
Yes, exactly. And you miss the context, you miss the way it was delivered, you miss the tone, you miss everything. But what they're doing is they're just trying to find targets. And I think that's one of the things that's happening with Roseanne. And it's one of the things that's happening whenever anybody screws up in the media. You just get these people that they want a target. It's a game, and the game is take someone down. The game is call someone out, take someone down, shame them. Get the Twitter mob and the Facebook mob. Get them after them. Let's go. Let's move. Let's start a hashtag. Let's attack Morgan Freeman. I heard he told a joke. I mean, this is like. I mean, did you read the woman's account from CNN?
I just want to stop quick too, because that's what he said earlier, you know, or just a few seconds ago about this was, you know, it's like if you screw up once, right? You screw up on live TV or whatever. You screw up once, you say something, off character or whatever. There's no redemption nowadays. Like, you used to be able to say, like, oh, you know, I didn't mean to say it that way, or I shouldn't have said it that way. I'm sorry, yada yada. There's no apologizing anymore. Like, it's just now like you slip up at all, and you're done, right? You're the worst person ever. You know, everything you've ever done should be gone. Shouldn't exist in history. You know, it's kind of nuts, right? And you see that with a lot of these like bigger name people. Like, they say the one wrong thing, and it's like, see ya, out. Everything you've ever done, out, gone.
With her interview with Morgan Freeman.
I think we covered it, but I can't remember it.
He was playing God in a movie. You know, he's played God in a movie, and she asked him if you had
Bruce
magic
Almighty.
power, what would you do with it? And he said you wouldn't have a stitch of clothes on. That was the joke. That was it. And she was like, God, you mess with the wrong girls, and I'm number 17 out of all these girls that have come after you. It's like, wow, you know, like, he was on the spot. He's being interviewed. He's on a red carpet. He tries to crack a joke about you being naked. Like, is this really the worst thing that's ever happened to you? Is this really this, or is it just a joke?
And here's the thing, like, she could have not liked the joke. She could have been like, hey, I don't know. I don't really care. That's a bad joke. But that's the end of it, right? Like, geez.
And when I'm looking at it, even in text, I find it to be silly.
But just a joke is dying, obviously.
Just a joke is still just a joke. It's just a joke.
Well, I think there is that backlash happening. It's one of the reasons why you've become incredibly popular, because you just don't care, right? I mean,
well,
and
I feel like if you have you money and you don't say you, then who's going to?
That's what I love. That's the kind of attitude I love. He will straight up say, I have FU money, right? And if you don't use it just to say F you and say what you want to say, then what's the point, right? I hope Ricky Gervais is never canceled either. Like, true genius. True genius. Will Smith would have never slapped Ricky.
You know, who's going to? Like, I'm a good person. I'm a nice guy. I pay my taxes. I have a bunch of great friends and loved ones.
You have kids.
I have kids. I try to be nice to people. That's what I try to do. But if I see something that's ridiculous and I make fun of it and people get mad at me for that, that's on you.
Well,
that's on you.
This is why so there's a picture of you along with the rest of the intellectual dark web in this big New York Times piece by Barry Weiss. I don't know, were you standing in a bush or something? Like, for some reason, everybody was in foliage taking these pictures. So what do you make of the whole intellectual dark web contingent? And there's been this now huge backlash by a lot of folks, particularly on the left, saying, what's up with this intellectual dark web? It's just a bunch of unacceptable, deplorable people talking with each other, and they don't have anything to say. What do you make of the whole phenomenon?
Well, the name is all Eric.
Right, Eric Weinstein, yeah.
Yeah, Eric is crazy, and he loves, like, all the cloak and dagger and all the hidden
I will say this, like, you leave it to comedians to troll you, they're gonna troll you pretty good. Like, the far left is very good at, you know, it's, if you ever, like, you know, if you have, like, a younger sibling or cousin or something, and, you know their buttons, you know their triggers, and you know that, you know, they can try to piss you off, but you can actually piss them off more by, like, pretending not to care or doing something even more ridiculous, whatever. That's what's happening with these comedians. It's happening with Joe Rogan and these other people. They know how to push the buttons of these people who hate them, and so they play the game, or they just play it better.
Just the name of it, intellectual dark web. It's like he concocted that.
Soros, yeah.
Oh, was it? Is he behind it? But Eric he's brilliant. I love him.
Oh, yeah.
And I love his.
Eric
I
is
love
the
his
smartest
mind.
person I have ever met, and I can't understand half of what he's saying.
Yeah, he's a very intense guy, but he loves all this stuff. He gets a kick out of it, and I think there's a certain amount of silliness in calling it the intellectual dark web. I mean, you and I are essentially in some sort of a super group. What are we in?
We're super friends.
We're
exactly.
Yeah, and what I felt was fascinating.
That's like a good group to be in, the Super Friends group, huh? That'd be a fun group of guys, gals. Are there any gals in the Super Friends?
Was that a lot of people were trying
Candace Owens probably in there.
Trying to label us as, like, deplorable conservatives, and, like, when they were saying this is a group of renegade conservatives. Well, I'm pretty liberal, like pretty liberal across the board. If you want to talk to me about gay marriage, you want to talk to me about gay rights, women's rights, like
drugs.
You go down the line.
See, I think he likes to use that line, I feel like, to kind of dampen the blow to the left. I do think Joe is actually, by today's standards, more conservative. Like, really. Because most conservatives nowadays don't really have a problem with gay marriage so much. Like, it's not really a thing with most conservatives. Or even women's rights. Like, I think, like, his idea of women's rights and what the left's idea of women's rights are today are very different. So I do think that Joe likes to say that he's very liberal, and he's been doing this for a few years now, and it's getting more and more kind of funny because of the way the bar overall has shifted more to the left. So, like, because I used to be very liberal too. I voted for Bernie Sanders back in 2016. I wrote that motherfucker in. Like, I used to be very left wing. But the bar itself shifted more to the left. I always like to say, like, I didn't really leave the left. The left left me. The left got so far left and kind of crazy that I kind of started looking into things more on my own, and I got just naturally more conservative because of it. But either way, I think Rogan is kind of kidding himself when he likes to say he's pretty liberal, and really our only argument for that is the drugs, like being able to take drugs, which I think a lot of conservatives would even say, like, a lot of the drug war stuff is kind of stupid. It's just a waste of money.
Universal health care, universal basic income.
Okay, that shit's stupid, but all right.
I'm pretty liberal. Like, but it doesn't fit the narrative. I look like a Trump supporter, right? So, like,
there's a white and buff or what?
Yeah, I'm a white bald guy who works out too much. There's a lot of, there's a lot of need to label someone into an easily dismissible category, and that category is conservative, like ruthless, nasty, mean, a person who's not kind. You're not a person who's caring about other people. You're a conservative. You're a mean bully.
Yeah, that's what I hear too. Like, even over the past few days, doing some of these videos, I hear like, "Oh my God, he's a right winger. He's a crazy conservative." Like, it's like the boogeyman. It's like you have any sort of conservative like politics that you agree with, you're automatically the boogeyman, which is kind of nuts, right? And it's kind of a more telling of the person who kind of acts like that, because I don't have any problem talking with people who are super left wing. Like, I don't think like they're these horrible types of people. I mean, some of them are, but I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and hear you out. But I don't know. People think like conservatism is like this crazy boogeyman thing, when I think like by most people, most reasonable people, like if you said what you like, how you think about things, or like what you support, you'd find yourself lining up pretty conservative on a lot of things. It's just like the media likes to play it out that it's bad.
Mean, mad white man. As what is his name? That said that to Jordan Peterson in the Monk debates. Michael Dyson, I think his name.
Oh, Michael Eric Dyson.
Yes,
Michael Eric Dyson.
Yes, that's who it was.
Michael Eric Dyson. Yeah,
He called Jordan Peterson a mean, mad white man. A mad mean, one of those.
Yeah.
But it's there's
Jordan
this
Peterson,
need to
Except for
categorize
Ryan Hersey Ali and Christina Hoff Sommers and half the people who are members of the club.
Majid,
Exactly. Dave Rubin, who's gay, right?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
It's this really like bizarrely diverse group, and really ideologically diverse too, because it's a bunch of people. I mean, like Brett.
I love there's like a video out there when you kind of see Dave Rubin become conservative. Like, he used to be like way more liberal, and then as he started getting like questioned by some of these more I don't want to say like wiser conservatives, but people who know how to explain things and talk, would challenge Dave Rubin on a lot of things, and Dave Rubin just was like, oh yeah, actually I agree with you, and he became more and more conservatives. And I feel like a lot of the left hates that just because he is gay, and they're like, what, gays can't be conservative, rabble. I don't know. I feel like that's what a lot of lefties think.
Weinstein, who's a member of our secret group, right? He's a socialist. He backed Bernie Sanders in the last election cycle.
Yeah.
And so what do you think generated? Was it just the political correctness, the insanity of the hard left that threw everybody out?
Dishonesty. It's dishonesty. It's the same thing that led to what happened with Brett Weinstein at Evergreen, when they had this day of absence where they wanted all white people to stay home. And he's like, hey, this is racist. Like you're absolutely targeting people based on their race and saying you're not welcome here. This is a day, instead of it being a day of absence where people of color stayed home voluntarily and weren't chastised if they didn't, instead of that, it was no, white people have to go away. And if you don't, you are a racist. And this is what happened with Brett. And it's a terrifying story. And when I interviewed him on my podcast, it was before he had left Evergreen. He was still employed there. And he was talking to me about mobs that were wandering the parking lot with baseball bats.
Like, if you don't think that's racist, like, I don't understand how you don't. Like, telling a group of people, like, any group of people, it's like all Mexicans, you can't come to this day because of X, Y, or Z or something that happened in the past, or all white people or all Asians. It's just like telling anybody based off their race that they shouldn't show up somewhere, and if they do, they are in themselves racist, is one of the most racist things ever. And I feel like there's a lot of that being pushed. Like, that's basically what affirmative action in itself is too, right? It's, if you're a certain race, you don't have to do as well to get into a college. I don't think is good. We're not gonna get into affirmative action right now, but what happened with Brett Weinstein is interesting.
And they were looking for him, and it was terrifying. He had to take his family out of the state. And who is this? Are these Nazis? Are these the KKK? Are these right-wing thugs? No, they're extreme progressives with pink hair who are, non-binary sexually. Like, it's very bizarre. And there's a lack of reality that you have to adhere to this narrative. And if you're not adhering to this narrative, then you are some horrific person who is a product of the past, and you're a part of the patriarchy, and it's not an honest discussion.
Mm-hmm. What I don't like too is, he's completely right. If you don't agree, and I've said this in the other videos, like, if you don't agree with the far left on this razor thin line that they create for themselves that you have to follow, then you're enemy number one. And this is why I feel like the left is going to end up falling apart drastically, because they fight within themselves. They can't agree on what they should believe, and whatever they believe is like the moral truth of all truths. And if you don't believe that, then you are the worst type of, you're not even human, is what it seems like to these people. So, like, the fact that you have to fit into that box, and if you don't, then you're enemy number one, it's just like, it's a self-defeating thing. It really is. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, it's just delusion.
And if you see all the people that are involved in this, air quotes, intellectual dark web, the one thing they have in common, all of them are going, what in the is everybody talking about? Like, what is this? What's happening here? Like, why are we pretending that men and women aren't different things? Why are we pretending that to tell people that you have to stay home because you're white? It's racist. That is absolutely racist by definition. That's what racism is. You're discriminating against someone based on their race, not based on their character or their job position or anything else. You're just white people.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And that's why people are allowed to get away with it. That's the one thing it's crazy, is if you attack white people, then it's okay. Then they're like, you can't be racist against white people is what it's starting to sound like, in what you're seeing in a lot of things, which is just absolutely insane, and it's just not true. And I feel like, what another really bad thing that I don't think the left realizes they're doing, anybody that disagrees with them, they call a racist, a transphobe, a homophobe, or anything. Like, you criticize any sort of policy or action or talking point, or you criticize anything that these people stand for, and you're automatically something ist or ism, right? Like, you're whatever it is. But by calling people that, you actually belittle the actual racist. Like, I've really only met one actual racist person in my life that genuinely did not like black people. And he was like, he didn't like me because I was friends with the black person. Like, at the time, I had a roommate who was black, and he did not like me because of that. Like, he was genuinely a racist person, and he made it perfectly known. He didn't hide it at all. And I've only met one person like that in my whole life. So that is an actual racist person, okay? You're just calling somebody racist because they're like, you know, questioning whether affirmative action should be put in place, and then people are like, oh, you're racist if you think that. That belittles so much about what an actual racist is and what that actually means, and the horrific kind of nature and mindset behind what actual racism is, which still does exist and always will exist throughout the world. And the same goes with, you know, you call somebody misogynist or anything else or whatever. It's whatever word they can throw at you to attack you and try to belittle you as a person and your character. And all they're really doing is belittling what it means to actually be that thing. It's like the boy you cried wolf kind of thing, right? The racist doesn't really mean much if you call everybody a racist, right? Then the actual racist just can kind of skate by and do whatever, because the term is diluted. It doesn't mean much. And I feel like that's what we're seeing a lot nowadays, which is kind of sad, because a lot of what's going on today with the far left, and I think I think it's going to change. I think it's going to change in the next 10 years, because I think it's imploding on itself, and people are tired of cleaning up and seeing the mess that it's causing. So. All right, that's gonna do it for that live show portion. We can have a little chit chat now. I'm gonna stop recording. Take a little breather. I'm gonna take a short intermission, just a couple of minutes. I'm gonna grab some water, run to the bathroom, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. That's not the right overlay. All right, welcome back, everybody. How we doing? Thanks to everybody who stuck around through the show and who hung out while I ran to the restroom. So we got a couple people here. I'm gonna go through chat, kind of talk about some things in chat, and we can spend some time chit-chatting about whatever you guys want to chat about. So let me just go back up here. Not as much controversial stuff today. Maybe a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what people think. Yeah, Cordy was saying like she's a guard. Vicky White, yeah, she's a guard. Dakota was like the only reason I found this channel is because I think it was funny watching Americans watching the NRL's biggest hits. I will say I'm losing a lot of subscribers, and I'm pretty sure that's why. It's like most people signed up for my channel because they saw me watching Australian stuff or European stuff, whatever, somebody else's sports. And I'm starting to get into things that I'm more interested in. If I'm going to be honest, I still like the AFL and the NRL and all those things. It's just really tough between copyright stuff and the times watching stuff, and just kind of being like you're kind of stuck within a limited amount of content, really. And I just kind of enjoy talking about a whole variety of things. So that's kind of why I think a lot of people are like, this isn't what we signed up for, which is understandable. I get it. Yeah, Casey was the guy, Vicky was the girl. Yeah, the fact that breaking out of prison is blows your mind. Is possible. I thought that was crazy too, because I'm like, how'd they break out, right? But all she literally did was she's like, hey, I'm taking this guy to his psych evaluation. The people at the front gate were like, oh, yeah, sure, see you later. Because she's trusted there. She's been there a while. And they just drove off. They literally just it sounds like they literally just walked out the front door. Which, imagine that. Imagine just being in, like, I think it was a federal prison, just walking out the front door. Kind of crazy. Yeah, so she shot herself in the head and died in the hospital. See, so I'm wondering if she, like, there's some questions around that, right? Like, did she actually just consciously shoot herself in the head? Or, because I think on the call, there was a point where she said that she had her finger on the trigger. Now, did she get hit? Like, did the cop car rear end him? She ended up accidentally shooting herself? Like, did she accidentally shoot herself in the head? Like, it's happened. People accidentally shoot themselves all the time. And if you're in a high-speed chase, or maybe not high-speed chase, but if you're in a car chase and you have your finger on the trigger of a gun, and there's a good chance you might accidentally shoot yourself or somebody else. It's going to be hard to really tell or say for sure. I'm assuming, but she very well could have shot, committed suicide as well. But who knows, really? Maybe we'll end up finding out more. It's good to see Scientology following its arse. Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, the 82-year-old clown. Yeah, that's right. Like, vegan. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, most vegans can't see past the end of their paws. It's pretty funny. He's scraping it off. The contradiction in a Starbucks cup, that is a good point, too. The fact that he grabbed his drink afterwards from Starbucks after sitting up, gluing himself to the counter, still got the Starbucks. Yeah, and again, a good point, Cord. You gotta find the line as well. He says, at a micro level, a vegan eats produce pooped on by a worm and drank the bodily juices of a worm, as well as all those tiny insects and animals roaming through your garden. I mean, yeah, and I really wonder, like, where do vegans draw the line? Because in other countries, they eat like grasshoppers up the wazoo. Like, would they eat grasshoppers? Maybe they do. I don't know. These are good questions, I think. He said, you hope Ricky Gervais is never canceled. I agree. Seems like there's a lot of uptight people in the States that don't get a joke. And all you guys are so big on free speech. If somebody says something they don't like, you to get smashed quickly. I agree. That's a good point. Like, and I feel like that's where there's like also this divide is most reasonable people are like, free speech is good. You should be able to say jokes. We should all be able to take jokes. But it's almost like there's this. I honestly think that the far left is making so much noise, and you have like the far left, and then you have like a little tiny portion of the far left that's like super, super, super far left and really mentally ill, that like are able to just kind of keep carrying this stupid narrative on throughout the years. And then you have all these idiots who just kind of follow along with it because they feel like they don't have any other place that they fit into. So they just kind of grasp onto this thing, this amalgamation of letters and identities that they just like say, oh, I'm going to attach myself to that group because they have nothing else that they feel like that fits them. And nothing they say makes any sense. So then they just attack. They attack anything that they feel like threatens them. They're like a baby snake that just fucking attacks and unleashes all its venom at anything that it's, that threatens them in the slightest bit. But for the most part, we are big on free speech, and that's where I think you're seeing a lot of the pushback, right? Like Joe Rogan, I think he considers himself a left-wing person, even though I don't think he is at all. But because he thinks that by being left-wing, that means you're inherently sympathetic and empathetical, right? That's kind of like the notion. Like, I feel like a lot of left-leaning people are more, they rationalize and think based off of emotion and sympathy, which is a good thing. But like, that's the associated trait with the left, and I think that's why he likes to be like, I'm that kind of person. He's like, I'm a sympathetic person. I have empathy towards these people and these topics and these struggles and these things. Therefore, I'm kind of left. But I don't think the left even believes in those things, because they're not empathetic or sympathetic towards anything that doesn't like fit their agenda or their line. So I think that's why it's kind of destroying itself from within. And I think free speech should hopefully prevail, and things will get better. But yes, I am up late. It is 1 o'clock in the morning here, Paul. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We have Duke, Cordy, Paul, Noct. Having said that, we have a few people in here. Dakota tuned in. So thank you everybody who said hi. If you guys want to talk about anything, just let me know. We can have a chat. Otherwise, in a little bit here, I'm gonna get off, have a snack, and then I might do a live stream on Twitch again. I'm pretty much doing like Monday through Friday. Right, recently I've been doing a live stream on Twitch and a YouTube show, and then another live stream on Twitch, and then videos throughout the day during all that. So if you want to watch me game on Twitch, you should play like Overwatch or Rocket League, or I'm down to kind of play whatever I got. Follow me on Twitch. The link's in the description. You can go follow me over there. And if you got an Amazon Prime, consider getting an Amazon Prime sub to your boy. Jay, what is up, my man? Long time no see, buddy. Yes, I did. Huh? What do you think? Huh? The hair is gone, my man. How you doing? Yeah, we cut it off. We had the mullet. So you want to hear the story on why? I'll explain why. I was going to do like a stream for it, but it was kind of last minute. Go get some sleep. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, so basically, I had the long hair, right? And then I had my dad come in to visit in Florida for my birthday. This is when I was in Florida. And back in the day, back in the 80s, before I was born, my dad had a sick, wicked mullet, right? And there's like pictures on my grandma's wall of him with his long mullet, from back when he was like in his 20s. Or in his teens or whatever it was, but he had a mullet, right? So I'm like, all right, my dad's gonna come down for my birthday. I'm probably gonna cut my hair in the next few months, anyways. Let's get a mullet. You guys might have saw it. I had a mullet for a little while, for like a couple months or a month or whatever it was. No, it was a couple months, and so I got a mullet. My dad came down, he saw the mullet. I'm like, hey, my mullet's better than yours because I have longer hair. He kind of laughed, and then he's like, hey, you should cut that shit. It looks dumb, and I never really cut it. So I moved to Texas, and then I make Mother's Day plans, right? So we got Mother's Day brunch at a country club, right? You gotta look nice, okay? Gotta look nice. Well, I wake up the morning of, and I'm like, I don't know how to make my mullet look nice. I just don't know how to make a mullet look like nice for a country club brunch. And I was a little stressed out because my mullet had, it was already like a month after being cut, and I was like, I don't know what to do here. So I just went to the Great Clips. And I got her cut off, $16 haircut, and well, boom, just cut all that crap off, and now we're rocking. So I don't know, am I getting a bald spot? What's that? We'll see. That's weird, man. I'm telling you, it's a lot easier to wash the hair. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. This is about time. I had long hair for many years, like I don't know, like 5-6 years. So it's nice to have it short. I will say, I'm gonna look like Joe Rogan if I ever start losing my hair, though. I'm gonna shave that shit right off. Look out, ladies in Texas. Yeah, right, exactly. Tell you what, everything's bigger in Texas, including the ladies. That's what I learned. Bindi and Sage did well with the move. My first week in Texas, I spent $800 on Sage going to the vet, so that was fun. They did well with the move. They did all right. They made it through fine. It was a little cramped. It was less space than the move down here. We were all in a. It was me, my mother, and the 2 cats in a U-Haul driving down here because my mom insisted that she comes with. Right, she didn't want me driving by myself. So it was very nice of her to accompany me. It was a little cramped, but it was good. It was fine. We made it. Stayed in a hotel. Made it a 2-day thing, and we got there. But yeah, Sage has like a bladder stone, so she had to eat like X-rays and some other stuff and prescription food. But yeah, she's doing good. Yeah, even the ladies are bigger here in Texas. I'm not gonna lie. All right, not gonna lie about that. All right, it's crazy. Have I gotten to shoot the pew pews yet? No, I have not. I need to get out and shoot. It's I don't know. With not having the land anymore to do it, and like private land, I don't like paying to go to a range, but I need to. I probably will here in the next month or so. But the nice thing is Texas is a constitutional carry state, so that's pretty awesome. Excited for that. That means I don't have to go through the class and get the permit and do all that jazz that I already did again in Texas. As long as I'm not a felon, I can carry a gun. I can carry a gun in Texas. Yeehaw. Let's go. Is it better weather compared to Florida? Well, it depends what you mean by better, but I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's worse. It's hotter here than Florida. This isn't me complaining about Texas, because Texas is cool, but like in Florida, I was right next to the ocean. I had the ocean like less than like 10 minutes away. I could drive to the beach. There were lakes there too, and there's a lot of stuff to do in Florida. Here in Texas, it's hotter. Like it's in 100 degrees recently. It's hotter here. It's just as humid. There's way more spiders where I am at least. Like I don't like spiders, and there's spiders all over the place. I only saw a few spiders when I was in Florida. Like I know they're there. There wasn't a lot of them all over the place. Like it's a lot more like woodsy here. Whereas in Florida, being by the ocean more, it's more like tropical kind of like whatever. Here it's more like woods, foresty. I'm on a lake here. So it's nice here. It's just it's different, and it's hot. It's hot. Like it's hot. So but it's Texas. Did I get sick of the AFL because there are 3 games on right now, but the Eagles are getting hammered this season? No, I'm not sick of the AFL. I just don't have the ability to watch it as easy anymore, and I'm trying to do more stuff with the channel that I enjoy doing. I still enjoy the AFL. I just I want to talk about more things. I don't want to like pigeonhole myself into one singular sport either, as far as the channel goes. Because there's more like that I like to talk about on a daily basis. I've been wanting to start more of like a podcast style, or like what I'm doing now at these live shows. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I just never really knew how to do it or how to structure it, and so I'm just doing it and seeing where it goes. We're starting now, or a few days ago, whatever. But I still enjoy the AFL. It's just you gotta keep in mind it's usually on at like 3 in the morning, or I mean I guess it's on right now, but yeah, I don't really have the means to watch it all the time. So. And it's tough too with the copyright stuff. Like, I don't know what it is. There's a lot of other streamers that watch these games and do stuff like this, and they show a lot more than I do, and none of them have issues. But I have all sorts of issues with trying to do content on sports in general. It's just like it's a uphill battle. Well, I appreciate it, Jay. Thank you. Yes, Texas is doing all right. I'm hoping to put on a few pounds now that I'm here. I need it. So, you know, maybe I'll go get some Whataburger. I mean, Whataburger's open 24 hours. I can go get Whataburger. A medium drink at Whataburger is this is a medium drink at Whataburger. This is a medium drink at Whataburger. All right, this is, forget the nozzle, okay, and forget that it's Windex, but that's how much. I swear to God, they're huge. Okay, I'm like, all right, it's Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Yeah. But hey, there's a lake. I'm right next to a lake, so I'm gonna get my fishing license, and maybe we'll do some fishing videos too, huh? Maybe I can bring my phone outside and set it up on a tripod and try to catch a bass. There's some big ass bass in Texas, though. I tell you what, you're bigger in Texas. There's some big old bass down here, so that's why the lasers are so big. Yeah, that's right. All right. I think even the ice cubes got calories down here and are bigger. Some sugar cubes in these drinks. Some biggins down here. It's like the home of the BBW. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not really my thing, but you know, whatever. Each their own. Each their own. All right. I'm just saying. I notice these things because I'm on Tinder, right? I'm on Tinder. I've been single for a while, so I'm on Tinder. And I'm looking through the ladies in Minnesota. I'm looking through the ladies that were in Florida. And then I start looking through the ladies that are here in Texas. And there's a significant difference as far as the size. So, just an observation. That's all. Just an observation. Hey, thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like talking about things. I like talking about politics and current events and things like that. And I know it can be polarizing and people can get upset about it, but I don't know. It's stuff that I enjoy doing and putting myself out there doing it. And if I'm gonna be doing YouTube like consistently, I feel like I need to do it with stuff that like I really enjoy doing. And while I really enjoy doing the AFL stuff, like there's only like, what am I going to end up doing? Am I going to end up just doing live streams for every game for the next 5 years? Or we just talk about like, where's the next step in the channel, I guess. That's kind of what I was thinking about. And it was tough for me to like put my finger on it. Like, well, it's just AFL, right? And even if in Australia, not everybody likes the AFL. So there's really only so much potential with that. And I want to grow the channel and grow the community. And I do like the AFL. I'm still going to watch it. And I'm still going to go to Australia. Definitely. Seems like it's getting a lot easier to get over there. So hopefully get some funds saved up and then make my way over. I don't know if they'll ever... It depends. If they have to allow unvaccinated people, they do, then we'll see. I know I'm like the worst thing in the world, right? But hey, we are what? Almost 2 hours into this live stream. It's been a good live stream today. A little bit longer than yesterday's. It's going to be many hours of me pulling clips and stuff and editing videos from this one, but it'll be good. I'm excited. I think we're getting down the hang of things a little bit better. It's a little bit different, but I'm glad you guys tuned in. I'm going to be hopping off. I'm going to make some cookies and I'm going to eat some snacks, and then I might do another live stream on Twitch. Go follow me on there. Thanks to you guys for watching, being civil. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Peace, love. Catch you later, y'all. Cheers.